What happens when a beloved talk show host confronts a Hollywood star about his most controversial career choice and he refuses to back down? The tension in the studio grows so thick you could almost feel it. What began as a simple promotional interview quickly turns into one of the most uncomfortable moments in daytime TV history. Before we dive into this intense exchange, don't forget to subscribe and leave your thoughts below, because this one will definitely spark debate. The Kelly Clarkson show was meant to be a friendly space for Taylor Kitsch to talk about his new project, but from the start, something felt off. Kelly's usual warmth seemed forced, and Taylor appeared tense, far from his usual relaxed self. "So, Taylor, let's talk about your new film," Kelly began, her tone sharper than normal. "This seems quite different from what you usually do, right?" Taylor shifted in his seat, his jaw tightening slightly. "Yeah, well, I think it's important for actors to take risks, to choose projects that might challenge people." "Challenge is one word for it," Kelly replied, smiling faintly but without warmth. "When I read the synopsis, I was honestly surprised you wanted to be part of something so, let's say, controversial." Taylor leaned forward. "With all due respect, Kelly, I think you're misunderstanding what this film is about." "Am I?" she pressed, her tone steady but firm. "Because from what I understand, this movie glorifies some really troubling behavior. How do you justify that with your influence and your platform?" Taylor's eyes narrowed. The studio went silent, only the soft hum of cameras filling the air. "I think you're making assumptions based on rumors and a short synopsis," he said. Kelly didn't waver. "I've done my research, Taylor. I spoke to people from the production and read parts of the leaked script. This isn't about rumors." "Leaked excerpts taken out of context," Taylor shot back, his voice rising with irritation. "I expected better from you, Kelly. I thought you wanted to talk about art, not throw judgments based on gossip." The audience shifted uncomfortably. This was not the light-hearted chat they'd come to see. Kelly's tone stayed calm but firm. "It's not about gossip, Taylor. It's about accountability. When you have a platform, don't you think you have a duty to consider the message your work sends?" Taylor laughed bitterly. "Accountability to who? People who haven't even seen the movie? That's the problem with this industry. Everyone's too scared of offending anyone to tell real stories anymore." "Real stories?" Kelly raised an eyebrow. "If that's what you call it." "Yes," Taylor snapped. "Complex, real human stories that aren't always easy to digest." Kelly studied him for a moment. "I think we see real very differently, Taylor." The room felt heavy, tension radiating from both of them. Crew members exchanged worried glances. "You know your problem, Kelly?" Taylor said quietly, voice sharp. "You live in this bubble, surrounded by people telling you what you want to hear. You've forgotten what real art looks like." The audience gasped. Kelly's smile faded. "My problem?" she repeated softly. "My problem is caring about the impact of what we put into the world. Art doesn't excuse promoting harm." Taylor stood, his chair scraping the floor. "Harmful ideologies? Are you serious?" "Completely," Kelly said, not breaking eye contact. "And I think you know exactly what I mean." Taylor stood still, fists clenched. The balance of power in the room shifted. "You're acting like some moral judge," he said, voice shaking. "You've made millions singing about heartbreak and revenge. But when I act in a film exploring human flaws, I'm the villain. There's a difference between exploring darkness and celebrating it," Kelly replied firmly. "Between portraying complexity and glorifying cruelty." "So now showing flawed people is wrong?" Taylor said mockingly. "You're missing the point." Kelly stood now, facing him directly. "No, I'm not. This movie doesn't just explore dark themes. It romanticizes manipulation. It turns emotional abuse into entertainment." "That's not true!" Taylor shouted. "You're twisting everything." "Then explain it," Kelly demanded. "How is showing detailed manipulation tactics taught by likable characters not dangerous?" "Because it shows the consequences," Taylor yelled, his voice cracking. "It shows how these behaviors ruin lives." "Where are those consequences?" Kelly shot back. "Because from what I've read, your character succeeds because of those tactics, and the women get blamed for falling for them." Taylor froze, his expression faltering. "You're twisting this," he said weakly. "I'm reading directly from your script," Kelly replied, pulling out her phone. "Want me to quote it?" Those were leaked, Taylor said quickly, desperation creeping in. Kelly read aloud. Marcus says, the key is making her think it was her idea. If you do it right, she'll thank you for manipulating her. Then your character replies, that's brilliant. Teach me everything. The audience sat frozen. Taylor's voice was barely audible. That's one scene. It's meant to show how wrong that mindset is. Really? Kelly countered. Because a few scenes later, your character uses that same trick and wins. The movie treats it as success. Taylor's hands trembled. You're cherry-picking. No, I'm pointing out a pattern, Kelly said firmly. The film portrays women who resist as cold, while those who fall for manipulation are shown as emotional or weak. Taylor's voice dropped. It's more complex than that. No, Kelly said. What you've created isn't art, it's a guidebook. And the worst part? You know it. His face paled. That's not what I meant. Intent doesn't matter, Kelly interrupted. Impact does, and this movie teaches manipulation, plain and simple. Taylor's voice broke. You don't understand what it's like, the pressure, the compromises. I understand, Kelly said softly. But not all compromises are worth it. Taylor looked around at the audience, their uneasy expressions reflecting his own dread. You think you can judge me without knowing what it's like to have your career hanging by a thread? I'm not judging your struggle, Kelly said. I'm judging the harm that struggle caused. Harmful, Taylor muttered. That word doesn't mean anything anymore. It does, Kelly replied. When something teaches others to manipulate, it's harmful. Taylor began pacing. You're projecting your own bias. My bias against abuse? Yes, I'm proud of that bias, Kelly shot back. That's not what the film does, Taylor insisted, but his voice lacked conviction. Then why show the manipulator living in luxury while others suffer? Kelly pressed. Because that's what lures people in, Taylor said, frustrated. Exactly, Kelly replied. You spend nearly 2 hours showing manipulation working and a few minutes showing vague consequences. Which message will people remember? You can't measure art by minutes, Taylor argued. But influence isn't abstract, Kelly countered. Young men will copy what they see. So what? We can't show dark characters anymore? Taylor asked. You can, Kelly said. But there's a line between exploring darkness and teaching it. I'm not teaching anyone, Taylor said. I'm just an actor. Then maybe you should see what people are saying online, Kelly replied, showing him her phone. They're discussing these techniques, practicing them. That's your audience. Taylor's face went pale. I can't control that. You can control what you support, Kelly said. And you chose this. Stop, Taylor said, his voice cracking. I can't, Kelly said quietly, because this will hurt people. I'm not responsible for others' actions, Taylor shouted. Yes, you are, Kelly said firmly, when your work influences them. The air felt heavy as silence filled the room. You're a good actor, Taylor, Kelly said finally, sadness in her voice. You could have done better. You chose this instead. Taylor's voice trembled. I chose survival. And in doing so, you helped something destructive survive, Kelly replied softly. Was it worth it? Taylor hesitated, eyes glistening, then turned away. I'm done with this interrogation, he said bitterly. Is that what you call accountability? Kelly asked. You invited me under false pretenses, Taylor shouted. You wanted a fight. I said I had questions, Kelly said calmly. I never promised comfort. These weren't questions, Taylor snapped. They were attacks. Were they wrong? Kelly asked quietly. You haven't denied anything. Because I shouldn't have to defend art, Taylor yelled. I based my opinion on evidence, Kelly replied. Not gossip. Evidence from leaks, Taylor said angrily. You don't understand art. Then explain this art that teaches abuse, Kelly shot back. I don't owe you that, Taylor shouted. And I don't owe a washed-up singer pretending to be a journalist any respect. Gasps filled the room. Kelly's voice went cold. Washed up? Yeah, Taylor sneered. When was your last hit? Kelly stood, her tone sharp. At least I never taught people to hurt each other. And I don't pretend to be morally perfect while ambushing guests, Taylor retorted. There's nothing false about basic decency, Kelly said, her voice cutting through. Taylor ripped off his mic. You're ruining my reputation for views. No, Kelly said. You're ruining it yourself. You can't debate real art, so you repeat harmful like a slogan, Taylor said bitterly. Kelly's patience snapped. There's no art in teaching cruelty, none. And there's no integrity in ambushing people, Taylor said, pointing at her. Then leave, Kelly said simply. Taylor stared, breathing heavily. You know what, I think I will. He turned to go, then paused. You pretend to care about truth, but you just want drama. When someone makes something that challenges you, you attack it. This isn't about challenge, Kelly said. It's about exploitation. No, Taylor said quietly. It's about you destroying someone for ratings. He gestured toward the audience. Look at them. They're entertained, aren't they? You're no better. Kelly looked at the silent crowd. I'm not entertaining. I'm confronting. Responsibility? Taylor laughed. When this movie makes money, you'll see. You turned this into a circus. He started walking off, but Kelly's voice stopped him. Taylor, wait. He turned back. What? It's not too late, Kelly said softly. You can walk away from this film. You can use your voice to do better. Taylor stared at her for a long moment. Then he shook his head. You really don't understand. I can't. I have obligations. You always have a choice, Kelly said quietly. Everyone does. Taylor's face hardened. Yeah? Well, I made mine. He turned and walked toward the exit. At the door, he paused. You know what's sad, Kelly? We could have been friends, but you had to make this your moment. He walked out, the door closing behind him. The studio sat in stunned silence until Kelly finally said, We'll be right back after this break. The cameras stopped. The audience murmured softly. Crew members moved uncertainly. Kelly stood alone, looking toward the exit. The confrontation was over, but its echo was just beginning. Within minutes, social media would erupt. Within hours, headlines would appear. Whether Taylor Kitsch would recover was unclear, but one thing was certain. This was a moment that would be remembered. What do you think? Did Kelly go too far, or was Taylor truly in the wrong? Leave your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more moments like this.